hey, don't mind all this. There's a story behind it. What I wanted to come on here, even as horrible as this looks, and say was that like it seems like every video that I see is just straight up mocking and scoffing against people who are looking out for the blessed hope. So I just want to point out a few things, like if you want to stick around. Personally, I'm not a day setter. However, I do consider this a high watch date, but you won't see me posting like, oh, we're leaving on this day, because we could not, don't know. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to look up on this day. Like, what I don't understand is, why are people who are Christian beating up on people who are Christian? Like, does that make you look Christ-like? Like, think about how that comes across to non-believers. Do you think that invites people to come to Christ? And these same people are like, oh, you have to preach the gospel every day, but you also have to live Christ-like. You also have to emulate a certain lifestyle. And if you are not doing that because you're too busy hoping that people are wrong about something that they're excited about, that the Bible promises will happen someday, like, does that make you look at not just to the unbelievers and not just to the Christian community, but what if it does happen? Like, what if it does? And then you have to stand in front of Christ and be like, well, I really thought they were fools, so I was beating up the fellow servants. Like, you're not gonna be, it's not good luck. And I wouldn't want to stand in front of Jesus having just did something like that. Like, I wouldn't want to make fun of my fellow Christians for just because they said something was a high watch date. Like, and I understand some people are like downright saying like, yeah, it's gonna happen on this day, and that's not cool. They shouldn't do that. But you still shouldn't be like the glee and like the giddiness in some people to like try to catch somebody wrong about this is insane to me. Like, you have nothing else going on in your life that you have to stoop this low and bother your fellow Christian like this, and like get ready to hunt them down because, you know, it's not happening at a certain time on a certain day. Because it also seems that a lot of people who are in different parts of the world are like, oh, it's already the 23rd and we're still here. Like, oh, it's the 23rd in Japan first and we're still here. So like, you guys don't even understand, like the timeline and like what is even important and why. Like, have you not studied that in the Bible? Do you not understand how it works? So that's fine. But also, there's so many layers to this. You know what I mean? When Jesus said that no man knows the day or the hour, not even the Son of Man. Okay, that was an idiom for the culture, so that the people that were listening to him, so if you actually like study the history, it was because he was referencing the Galilean wedding tradition, where the father would tell the son when he can go and get his bride after he already built a room unto his father's house for said bride. And then he would go out and his groomsmen would blow trumpets, and then the bridesmaids would get up with their oil lamps and they would light the way for him and his groomsmen to come, who are blowing the trumpets, to come get the bride. She would be there. They would lift her up on a thing and carry her to the groom. And then they would go to the father's house, and everyone who heard the trumpets and went with them would be there for 7 days. That is the wedding tradition. And that is what he was referencing. And that sounds an awful lot like the rapture, doesn't it? So do you really think that Jesus is up there right now? Like, those of you who quote that scripture, do you really think that Jesus is up there right now, still not knowing when the rapture is? Like, he is God. Do you really think that he doesn't know when the rapture is? Of course he does. It's his appointed time. He knew it from the beginning. This was an idiom, okay? An idiom. And it also says in the scriptures that in the end days, people go back and forth in the scrolls seeking out things. It is a... I forgot what the exact wording is. It is like the glory of God to hide a thing and the glory of a king to search it out, or something like that. Or the pleasure of a king and the pleasure of a whatever the case may be. He wants us to look for it. There are things that have been like, revelations that have happened in the last like 10 years, or even just the last 5 years since I've been a believer, where things have been like, wow, I never thought of things this way. And it's become like a core belief system in Christian communities that was not known prior, because things are opening up to us. Our eyes are being even more opened to things in the scripture, because some things you don't understand until certain things happen, and then you're like, whoa, yeah, that's what it meant. So it's like, really? And then I also want to talk about too how like so many of these people are like going on and on about how all of Christian TikTok and whoever else who is looking at the 23rd, i.e. today, or the 24th, tomorrow, for the Feast of Trumpets to start, and then that being when the rapture happens, is only because of this dude Joshua or something. I haven't even seen his videos or anything like that, but only because of this guy in his dream. That is so lazy and like disrespectful to anyone who put any kind of work in and gave a whole bunch of explanations as to why this day might be a high watch day. It's the same thing as the people who say that the rapture is some theory cooked up by some guy named Darby in the 1800s. Like, for real, this stuff is so easily proven incorrect. So easily proven incorrect. And then y'all just run with it, because you would rather just take glee, take joy in trying to be your fellow servant. And it's insane to me. It's literally insane. It's literally insane. And in 2 Peter, where it says that there's going to be mockers and scoffers in those days, right? I always figured that that would be the unbelievers that are mocking and scoffing, and there are some, but I'm seeing like just a ton of actual believers doing it. So again, I'm just asking you to check your heart posture, because personally, people who I see looking up are sharing the gospel a lot, not just sharing the rapture. And then the people who are posting the mocking, scoffing videos are posting way more of that than they are posting the actual gospel. So evaluate your heart posture, because I wouldn't want to stand ashamed in front of God. Just me personally. I don't want to go up there and have him being like, why were you doing this? Like, before I came to get you. And also, okay, last thing. The same people, again, the same people who say stuff like, well, it's the 23rd, or I can't wait till it's after the 23rd, and I have to have all these people answer for why it wasn't it, because I know it's not going to be it. And then they stay, but we don't know when he's coming, so you should be looking up every day. So you know when it is, because you're saying it can't be this day in advance. So you know that it can't be this day in advance, and you can't wait to show and expose these people who you, again, think in advance is definitely not going to be on this day. Then that means you don't look up every day. And that means that you do know something that apparently you also think Jesus doesn't know, because no man knows. And in that same verse, it says not even the Son of Man, which is Jesus. So I'm just saying, like, you need to evaluate